I am going to specifically be talking about why limited internet censorship and social media reform are necessary to keep people sane when they're online. So, how has excessive social media use started to harm society? Well, internal documents within Facebook have stated that we make body image issues worse for 1 in 3 teenage girls. I find this particularly troubling because I know people who have developed body image issues because of what social media shows them. Social media continually shows them what the perfect body should look like. And over time, this degrades people's feeling of self-worth and self-esteem. So why do people keep coming back to these social media platforms after having their self-esteem destroyed? Well, it's the way that the social media platforms are actually designed. They're designed in a similar way in how a slot machine is designed. Every time you post on social media, you get a rush of dopamine. And that dopamine makes you feel good and gives you social validation. And people continually keep chasing this social validation through likes and comments on their posts. When these people aren't getting these likes and comments, they begin to feel the effects of a dopamine withdrawal. All of these things are unethical in design and need to be addressed. Since social media now has the power to influence the result of elections, and it can dictate how millions of people live their lives, there needs to be some sort of regulation placed on it so that it can protect users from having their emotions taken advantage of and to stop the spread of misinformation, which is extremely dangerous to a society. People today have the same brain size as humans did from 10,000 years ago, and with that comes the same set of primal emotions that allowed us to survive in the wilderness and in small tribal groups. I'm going to discuss 3 of these psychological concepts that social media constantly takes advantage of. The first is excessive stimulation. Social media provides instant gratification through the number of likes and views that people get on their posts. When people notice this attention, they are biologically rewarded with a shot of dopamine. Dopamine is the chemical that gives people pleasure for doing rewarding activities. Oftentimes, social media can become so pleasing and exciting that its draw can be just as powerful on the mind as addictive drugs like cocaine. The second concept is confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is the psychological phenomenon where people only seek information that supports their own views. Many people, including myself, are guilty of this. For instance, many people will only watch news feeds that support their own views. Therefore, they place themselves in an echo chamber, where the only other voices they hear are the ones that agree with them. There's no differing opinions in these areas. So in turn, people do not have to think critically because everyone is agreeing with them and bouncing similar ideas off each other rather than objectively debating things. One infamous example of this is how people became obsessed with the QAnon conspiracy theory. QAnon grew wildly on social media because of how the recommendation algorithms kept people engaged in these echo chambers. The final psychological concept that social media takes advantage of is tribal identity. Tribalism is an inherent human instinct based on trusting people around you. People who are in a tribe must trust each other to protect them from danger. So after being in a tribe for a while, you begin to identify with them and see people who are not in your tribe as an enemy. This can be seen with devotion to regional sports teams and with political ideologies. For instance, some people have been known to physically fight to protect their tribe from rival sports teams or people who are on the opposite political aisle. Anyone can find long threads of people arguing about subjects like these. Typically, the root of all of these arguments are based in tribalism, where one side's fighting another. And those comment sections and threads can get extremely toxic and aggressive. You may not realize it, but we actually have godlike technology. Before the last 50 years, no human, no matter their background or socioeconomic class, has had access to technology that allowed them to instantly communicate with anyone around the world. So, how do social media companies decide to use this amazing technology? Well, they have decided to turn you into the product rather than a user. Since you don't have to pay for an account, they sell your attention to advertisers. Social media platforms have moved away from a service that just shows you what your friends are posting to a profit-driven advertisement service. Recently, the Explore page, or the search page, has become a feature that shows you what content you tend to engage in. For example, if you spend lots of time watching conspiracy theories, then soon enough, your whole search page will become conspiracy theories. The intention behind this is that the recommendation algorithms will keep recommending content to you that engages you and keeps you on the platform. Therefore, the longer you stay on the platform, the more attention these companies gather, making them more money through advertisements on the service. So, now that people can date online, order just about anything, and even work from home, we need to start being more responsible with this amazing technology. At the current rate, social media seems to be doing more harm than good, and not many people recognize this. New regulations and some reform must be taken into consideration to keep average people safe from predatory marketing practices and addictive designs on these social media platforms. So, what are some ways that people can make social media a less toxic environment? For starters, governments can start by passing regulation that requires companies to limit the capabilities of the sharing function. The sharing function has become a seamless feature of social media. All that is required to share content is to click the share button. Sharing can have exponential consequences, and now if it is shared to a large following, that content can be distributed all over the platform in a matter of hours. By limiting the capabilities of sharing to just 2 levels of sharing, as described to the image on my left, you can stop massive amounts of misinformation spread on social media. In essence, when someone posts content, that content is displayed to their friends, and then their friends can share that content again. What the intended purpose is to not allow the friends of the friend to click the share button on that content. What must happen is the friends of the friend must manually copy and paste the link of that content into their sharing feed. By making it harder to share content, it will curb the amount of shares that occur on any social media platform. While this may harm engagement, it is a benefit because it stops the spread of misinformation. All right, so how can social media businesses help? Well, they can start showing more objective information on social media rather than curating to individuals' beliefs. Within each post that makes a claim, there should be a way for people to access objective information that would show contrasting claims to what is being presented. This would help lower the amount of confirmation bias and the effectiveness of echo chambers that exist on social media. Lastly, I'm going to discuss how individuals can start proactively making their online experience less toxic. For starters, I'm going to put a link to a website called the Center for Humane Technology. On the site, there's an article that talks about how you can gain back control of your online experience and stop these unethical technologies from keeping you addicted to different platforms. In addition, not many people recognize that there's an actual addiction that people can have to the internet. I'm going to put a link in the description that talks about internet addiction. And hopefully, if you feel that this may be affecting you, you can find more resources to help you. Hello everyone. Thank you for watching the first part of the video. In the second part of the video, I'm going to be doing a test to uncover how the YouTube search algorithm recommends videos to users. To keep this test unbiased, I'm creating a new YouTube account or a Google account so that none of my private search history from beforehand will affect this search. In order to keep this account even less biased, I'm going to put a random birth date in for a 23-year-old person. For the gender, I'm not going to specify one because I want to keep YouTube from recommending videos that stereotype towards male or females. Okay, so we're logged into the new user account. I'm going to go to youtube.com. This is the first time this user has ever been on YouTube. As you can see, it has already recommended videos that are popular on the internet. Okay. The basis of this experiment is going to rely in me finding engaging content for the algorithm to recognize. In order to do this, I'm going to search something that has emotional tie to it. So in the search bar, I'm going to search something as, let's do, I hate. All right. Now we have lots of search results saying Donald Trump, people who hate Donald Trump. So we'll start off at the top. So here's the first video. What I'll do is I'm going to like this video. Okay, we are back in YouTube, and I went back to the main page. This was the previous search. So now I'm going to go again and search Donald Trump is horrible. Okay, now I'm going to click on This video was about Colbert saying that Donald Trump's a bad president. Okay, so after going through roughly 20 videos, all with negative viewpoints of Donald Trump, I'm going to go to the YouTube homepage to see what the homepage recommends me. As you can see, the first video is Donald Trump's carnivorous stupidity. Funny moments you missed from the Trump-Kim summit. Donald Trump's history of lies. So not too much, but we're going to do a new search. In this search, I'm going to search funny cat videos. Now, we will see if, after watching many cat videos, it loops me back into watching Donald Trump videos because it knew that Donald Trump was engaging to me. All right, so we'll go to this first video. Okay, so I just skipped past all the ads, and we'll watch a couple of these videos. Let's see how long it takes to get back to Donald Trump videos. Okay, so at our fourth video, we have the first instance of a Donald Trump-based video. Overall, this was just a simple example of a complex system at work. Try attempting this on your own YouTube account to see what YouTube tries recommending you. Thank you for watching.